And welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. We are live from Weston-super-Mare. So this is a live stream walk. We've got about 10 minutes before to officially kick off. We're just waiting for everyone to connect. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me properly. As you might notice from the umbrella, it is raining, which is a shame because it was bright and sunny 2 hours ago when I got here. Hi Nikki, nice to see you here. If anyone was completely new to me, if you don't know what you've clicked on, this is a live streamed walk in Weston-super-Mare. We'll be starting in 10 minutes. So if you're watching the replay, feel free to skip the next 10 minutes. We're just going to be standing here saying hello to everyone. All good, says Catherine. Thank you, Catherine. And most of you know the drill already. I'm going to have to tap the microphone 3 times just to check that it's working properly. You should have heard 3 taps. Let me know if you've heard them, because sometimes you can have a bit of dust in the connections or whatever. And welcome everyone that just joined. We've got about 10 minutes to go. Let me flip the camera around so you get a glimpse of the view instead of a very much zoomed in version of my face. The view was a little bit nicer 2 hours ago when it was bright and sunny. But hey ho, that's the beauty of the live streams. You never know what you're gonna get. And talking about live streams, I am not 100% confident about the signal today, especially towards the beginning of the tour. It's quite tricky to be checking the signal ahead. So as usual, you know, if you have any if you're watching the replay and you have a lot of little cuts, that's probably a signal cut. And if you are with me live, well, if you tell me that it's buffering or anything, I'll stop saying anything interesting until I know that you can hear me. So you shouldn't miss any of the information. Again, I don't know. We might have a brilliant signal, but it's quite hard to tell. Usually what I do to test the signal is I walk around watching YouTube shorts and I can see if they load fast enough. Although sometimes I think they're preloaded. So now I've started to walk and chat with ChatGPT at the same time and see how quickly they answer. Laurie, no, I don't think it comes from French now. Didn't really look it up, to be honest. I think I did years ago, but I don't remember where it comes from. Because Mare sounds French, but it doesn't mean anything in French. Mare would. Weston-super-Mare would make a lot of sense in French, but Mare, not really. Hi Tariq, and welcome everyone that just joined. We've got about 6 minutes to go. And I kind of hope the rain might stop. It started very quickly. It was going to be a beautiful day. I did walk my route already under the sun. So we've got quite a bit of a distance to cover. So I've already walked it back and forth. So I'll be doing a lot of walking today because after that I need to jump on the train and walk my route in Bristol. So I'll be walking at least 6 hours today. I'll be knackered on my bus back to London. That's fine if I sleep on the bus. That's probably better. It's not a long ride. I'm taking the bus at 9:30, so I'll be in London about midnight, I think. If you don't say hi, it's because you're lying down. Okay, fair enough, Laurie. Enjoy the lying down. No, Mare would be sea, but Mare is not anything in well, actually, Mare in French is enough. If you say j'en ai marre, I have enough. But only in that sense of enough. Otherwise, that'll be like sufficient. So it wouldn't be like mare. I mean, mer, the sea, would be M-E-R. Although in French you've got a lot of mer. You've got the mer that is the sea, you've got the mer that is the mother, you've got the mer that is the mayor, the city, you know, the town mayor. So you've got a lot of mers. You need to know which you're talking about. But no mar. You have a cold morning as well. Well, it was warm 2 hours ago here. Not last night. I was sleeping in a caravan in Burnham-on-Sea. I was freezing all night. Weston-super-Mare. Yes, it does get very muddy. The tide here, it's quite impressive. Although it's coming back up, so it's not gonna look too muddy today. So Catherine says, Wiki says Weston is the old English for Weston, and so West Village. Yeah, I did read that before, yeah, that village is a ton. And the suffix super-mare is Latin for up on sea. Oh, you see? So the French mare may come from the Latin mare. Oh, actually, mare in French, it's the tide. So it's also linked to the sea. But it's not pronounced mer, it's mare. Potentially with a double E, I think. Right, we've got about 4 minutes to go. 3 now. And welcome everyone that just joined. You've got a lovely view from here, a view on the pier, on all the beach area. And you can actually see the sea today, because sometimes the sea is so far that you don't really see much of it. The tide here can be quite extensive. If anyone was completely new to me, let us know in the chat. It's always nice to see a few new faces. And even if you were watching the replay, let us know in the comments as well. It's always nice to know who's watching and if anyone is new. So we've got 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes. And I think, let's see, because I'm under a tree, but I think it might be getting a bit better in terms of the rain. That would be great if I could get rid of the umbrella soon. Although we're lucky it's not too windy, because when I can hold the umbrella, that's okay. When it's windy and rainy, that's the worst. I think I might be okay, you know? Should I? Yeah, let's chance it. I'm gonna get rid of the umbrella. It's easier to do it here because I've got a little bench. Bear with me. I'm just gonna pop you down. Oh, it's a bit wet. I'll pop you down on a trunk. It's let me show you the little bench here. The bench is actually sat on a trunk. Wayne, you know the place very well. Nice. Did you often come here for a day out or a holiday? Right, bear with me. I'm just gonna fold up the umbrella and I'll try to pop it in the side of my bag, and then finger crossed that we won't need it again today. And then it should be perfect timing to get started, because we're starting at 12:30 UK time. Bear with me, I'm just trying to pop it on the side pocket. I'm carrying a big bag today because I was away for the weekend. I was doing a job in Brain and Burnham-on-Sea. I was photographing girls' football tournament. Right, perfect. Here we are, all done. And let's see what time it is. It is officially time to start. Okay, let's go, guys. Let's go for a nice little walk in Weston-super-Mare. Now, we're at the very beginning of the Woolberry forest. Emma, we are in Weston. We are on the hill at the, that's a little, a lovely little forest with a lot of dog walkers and sometimes even horse riders. Hi, Time Lord, and welcome everyone. There was a murder in this forest in 1987. But before I tell you about the murder mystery, let me show you the view again. So that's quite... Oh, you've been on a holiday here, Emma? So do you have a lot of good memories down here? Now, before we go much further, see this building here. I'll show you the front of the house in a moment, but I don't want to be standing in front of the house for too long because they might be wondering why I'm filming their building. And also, I think I've just met the landlord. Well, I've been petting their dogs or whoever came out of the house. But it is on the market. It is a 5-bedroom house, freehold, 3 garages, a beautiful view over the beach. And also it's a 5-bedroom, but it is at the moment it's kind of divided. You've got a 3-bedroom downstairs, like a maisonette, and oh shit! So I've just shown you the price. Oh well, never mind. Oopsie. I was gonna make you guess, but oopsie. I might as well show you again now. Never mind. This is starting well. So yeah, I was gonna make you guess the price, but too late. I've just clicked on the wrong image. So yeah, if you wanted to buy your freehold, a 5-bedroom house here in Weston, that would be the one on the market. Oh, Tarek, you were not far. Sorry about that, guys. Next time, I should keep the property guessing for the Monopoly tours, really. Now let's go down, because we've got quite a bit of a walk today anyway. Sometimes it takes a lot of concentration doing those tours, you know, because I'm stepping on wet stairs, and I have to remember what I'm talking about and which pictures to click on or not click on. Well done, me. Anyway, let's go down, and I'll show you the front of the building anyway. So it's a lot of money, but honestly, compared to London, it's really not that much. I also saw on the street down, I'll show you which one you have. Well, actually, you know what? I can make you guess the next one. I didn't take the pictures because I wasn't going to make you guess, but you can probably guess the next one. Right. So that's actually the back door of the building, but I'll show you the front. Down here, I've actually been pleasantly surprised. Breakfast actually, like 10 years ago. But recently online, I had seen a lot of videos saying Weston was very run down, and they called it Weston-super-Nightmare. And those videos are often biased, you know, because about any town or city, you can do any of those videos. You know, if you only film the dirty areas or the rundown area, you can give a bad image of a town, you know, any town. That's why those live streams are actually good, because I can't hide anything. I can't hide anything. So you see the real city, really. Pisas, you were spot on. Emma, you were so close. Yeah. Now this is the front of the building. You see those 3 garages, and so you know, for this price in London, you'd have, well, I suppose you'd have a 2-bedroom apartment. You know, maybe 3 if you go a bit further out, but it's not gonna be a beautiful freehold with 3 garages on a sea view. The murder. There was a lady that went to walk her dog. She was a retired lady called Helen. On the seaside in general for retirement, you know, and that was the case with Helen. She, sorry, I've lost you for a sec. That's the spot all the way down here until the sea. There might be some little cuts in the signal. Oh, you'd seen the picture, okay. Now, if you do want to try to guess, I'll tell you about Helen in a moment when I know for sure the signal is better. If you have different apartments to sell, how much do you think you'd spend for a 2-bedroom in that building there? I don't have the pictures, but I remember the answer. So a two bedroom down here in this beautiful, I don't know why they're all selling their apartments at the same time. There's one there that says sold and there's 4 more to sell. Yeah, you know what? If it keeps buffering, I'm gonna try not to say anything interesting. I'll tell you the murder story as we get down to the seaside. I had a feeling it was gonna be a bit dodgy around here, the signal. Tariq, it's far less. Any more guesses? Let me know. So 2-bedroom down that beautiful building. I see it's buffering again. That it doesn't surprise me because I was down here earlier trying to chat to ChatGPT, see how quickly that would, because we don't really have any good app interest until I can see that you are back with me. Affordable. Let me know in the chat whenever I'm back. I'm gonna try not to say anything interesting until you guys tell me that the signal is better. Laurie, 210. I don't know if you've heard it. I mean 210K. So 210,000. Now, are we back? That'll be great. This way I can show you the view of the pier. Laurie, the answer was 210,000. But I don't know whether you can hear me now. I hope you can see because we've got a lovely view down here on the rundown Birnberg Pier. That's why I wanted to try to come down here anyway. Yes, we're back. Perfect. Thank you, Nikki, for letting me know. It's a ghost pier. It's very rundown. It's actually closed to the public at the moment because it is dangerous. It was a very active pier for a long time though, because on the other side there you've got Cardiff. You can see Wales, and you'd have to remember that for many decades in Wales people were not allowed to drink alcohol on a Sunday. So what did they do? They jumped on a ferry to come down Birnberg Pier here and get pissed in Weston and then back home. I think for about 80 years they couldn't drink on a Sunday in Wales. It was completely closed down in the 1990s, I think. Even the lifeboat company that were up there, they had to move. Finally, I think the reason why it was run down, it's because it was private, so the city council couldn't do much. Now I think they've bought it finally, so you might see it being structure anyway. I think it's grade 2-star listed, so they have to keep it, but that'll be interesting to see if they do anything with it eventually. Now let's go down to the sea level. He says it's not true, they always drunk on a Sunday. Mayweather. Yeah, but we're not gonna say anything of interest. Let me know in the chat when the signal is back. I'll try not to. I'm gone again. Yeah, thank you, Nikki. Hopefully it'll be better down here. I had a feeling it was going to be a bit crap, but it's really hard to tell how bad it is until we've tried, really. Oh, I'm back. Perfect. Thank you, Nikki. Right, so hopefully, finger crossed, that once we get down to the beach, it's going to be much better. And the sister wanted to go and do some shopping center, then I'll pop into the bakery. Emma says she's got no sound. It's probably just the buffering again. We have to rely on the gods of the internet. And when they're not with us, they're not with us. I'll just keep going. I won't give up. No sound or picture. Oh, that's crap. And right now the app is telling me it's all right. Hi, Natalie. The sound keeps dropping, but the picture is fine. Okay. Right, I'll just try to wait a minute to tell you the story, because I know when it's in the middle of a story, it's very annoying when you miss half of the information. Back behind me, back in Georgian times, the ladies and the gents, they couldn't bathe at the same spot. So behind me, there was the spot for the ladies bathing. And up there on Nightstone Island, so this little island there, that's where they had a Georgian bathing center. They used seawater, and it was a huge center. They had those reading rooms and everything in the bathing center. Nowadays, it's mainly apartments and holiday rentals and stuff like that. Right, hopefully it's a bit better now. This is known as the Marine Lake. You can see it's a little enclave of seawater, because the tide in Weston-super-Mare are so large. When the tide is out, the sea can be so far away that it makes it very difficult to go for a bath. So what they had built here, the Marine Lake, was a little retention of the seawater, so people could go for a swim. And it would only refresh the water when you had a big tide that would come and refresh it. As you can see, there's no water right now, or hardly any, because they closed it because of E. coli bacteria infections. It's a bit sad, but at the end of the day, all of the sea here between here and Wales, that's basically the estuary, the River Severn's mouth and estuary. So we know now that we've got a bit of a scandal in the UK with private water companies that keep dumping gross sewages in the rivers. So yeah, that probably explains some of the E. coli. Anyway, if the signal is better, now I can finally try to tell you again about Helen. So again, we're talking about the murder that happened up there in the woods, 1987. Helen, a 66 years of age, retired lady, she told her sister she was gonna go and walk the dogs. She was gonna pop into the baker's before to buy some donuts and bread, and then she'd be back. She took her car and her dogs. She went into the woods, where we started the tour earlier, and we are late morning. I mean, the police officers believe that there were about 70 people in the woods at that point. So it's not really, it's broad daylight. And what happened is there's a friend of Helen that went to walk her own dogs herself in the woods as well. And she was a little bit surprised to see the two dogs, Helen's dogs, alone. So she was calling them and she was like, "Oh, where is Mummy? Where is Helen?" And she followed them around, and eventually she found the body of her friend. Helen had been brutally attacked. Hi, Herbie. Look at what they've done here. That's interesting. That's art, but it clearly used to be a tree here. They've kept part of the tronco to do some kind of sculpture. Anyway, Helen is dead. She'd been stabbed and bitten to death. There were a few witnesses that had seen a young man wearing an anorak or some even described him as wearing a ski jacket. But that was it. They couldn't eliminate him from the investigation because this guy never came forward. There was also a witness that saw her. She was talking to someone in a van, but I think that was the day before. And that was it, really. They found nothing else for many years. And apart from that boy with the anorak. And much later on, like years later, maybe 30 years later, I think there's a local crime historian that he wrote a book. He claimed that there was a serial killer in this area, or not even this area, in the west of the country in general, because the two other dog walkers lady were murdered in Devon and stuff. But there's absolutely no evidence of a serial killer. You know, if you want to target someone, dog walkers are often easy victims because they sometimes walk in isolated areas and stuff. There's a nice, I don't know how well you can see on camera, there's a nice piece of street art there at the side of the buildings. I think they are whales. Oh, actually, you know what? That might be a representation of the Severn serpent. Maybe not. Maybe I'm making that up. And there's a little legend of a serpent here in the Severn's estuary, a bit like the Loch Ness monster. So that might be. And if I turn around, there's a puffin as well. I don't know how well you'll see on camera, but there's a nice little puffin just up there. Talking about puffins, did any of you get the new King Charles III 20p with the puffin? I think it's going to be a very rare one. Well, at least for the 2023 minting edition. But keep looking at your change, because if you get a puffin, you could be in for a bit of money. I think they're quite valuable. Good morning, Barbara, and welcome everyone that just joined. So yeah, let me know in the chat if you've got a puffin. And to get back to the Severn serpent, I think I've got a postcard. Let me show you. There we go. I mean, most people think it's always been a hoax anyway, but that's a picture of or an alleged picture of the Severn serpent in Weston. So that could be what they've tried to paint on the wall there. I'm not sure. Right, let me remove this photo and let's go down towards the main pier. So we've seen the ghost pier earlier behind us, but I'll show you the main one, the Grand Pier. You can already see a bit of it now. The Grand Pier, it's been, the pier itself, I think it's 1903. So it's not Victorian like many of the piers, but the pavilion is very modern. It burned down a couple of times, it's been rebuilt a couple of times, and I think this latest edition is 2010. It's great to be with you too, Barbara, and you've joined at the perfect timing because we had a bit of a signal issue before, but I think we're good now, so hopefully the signal will stay with us. You're going to name it Bob the Serpent? That's a cool name for a serpent. Now, if you were a criminal, do you think burying your weapons in the beach, or in any beaches actually, but especially a busy one like Weston-super-Mare, do you think that'll be the best idea? Because, well, some people did it. We had a terrible crime actually in a little place called Wade Bridge. It's in Cornwall. It was a couple that was, I think they were in their 50s. They owned a little petrol station, so they were selling their petrol, and they were lovely. Everyone loved them. They were actually quite a cheerful couple, and they were brutally attacked. They were Well, it was probably a robbery that went wrong. You know, they stole the cash in the petrol station, but they were battered to death and shot. The criminals were not found for many years, until one day they found their guns buried here in the sand. I don't know why anyone would do that. I mean, you know, beaches, you've got a lot of kids making sand castles, and you've got people coming with metal detectors to find lost jewelry or coins. Or why would you come and bury your guns on the beach? I mean, it makes no sense to me. You'd be better off burying them anywhere else. Well, having said that, this morning when I walked my route the first time, I saw a guy with a metal detector in the forest as well. So nowhere is safe. But anyway, that's how the two guys were caught. They were local. They both lived in Weston, and well, I said they were caught. They were caught. They were jailed for the crime at first, but then they were. They were found guilty of the murder of Carol and Graham Fisher. They were jailed, and then years later, the evidence were kind of destroyed. I mean, they claimed, although there was forensics, I think they had fingerprints and stuff on the guns, but their lawyers managed to say it wasn't enough, and they were acquitted. They were released in 2006, I think, so they would have spent about 3 years in prison. Maybe they were innocent, who knows? But yeah, not the sharpest criminal. I don't know why anyone would bury their guns here. Talking about crimes, there were a couple of horrible crimes here recently. Last year there was a little girl, 9 years old, Arya Thorpe, that was killed by a 15-year-old. We don't know much. I mean, his identity is not disclosed because, you know, when it's a teenager or a minor in general, you know, they get to get their names away from the press. But yeah, quite a tragic case. Oh, and there was another one that was absolutely horrendous here many years ago, like in the late 90s. There was a case of a guy that basically dropped petrol on his wife or girlfriend, I think she was, and he set her on fire. So she was, I mean, extremely burned. I'm not going to show you any photos of her face because I don't want to use her as an object of horror, but she did survive, but she was in a terrible condition. Her face was completely burned, her lungs had been burned, she had to breathe with you know, like a little hole in you in your throat. Bear with me, I'm just gonna pop you down for a sec. I'm gonna get the umbrella again because it's raining quite bad now. Bear with me, don't go anywhere because my gimbal is all wet. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just gonna open the umbrella and then we'll be good to go. Oopsie. If it does come in the frame, I do apologize, but I've got to oh, it's a bit too windy for an umbrella now. I was just telling you earlier there was no wind. Well, it's windy now. Anyway, yeah, she survived. And at first, she tried to protect him. It was a guy she'd met on the street. I mean, he was homeless, and she took him on at hers, and then they fell in love, and they had. He was obviously extremely jealous and possessive and all that. But after being burned, she tried to protect him, saying it was an accident and stuff. It's only when she heard he had another victim. Sexual assault with GHB and stuff, that she then told the police. So he was jailed for about 15 years, and she survived. She was told she would have maximum 10 years to live, and she actually survived 19 years when eventually she well, sorry for the gruesome details, but she had some kind of a belly that was a bit bloated, and because of the skin, you know, she had hardly enough skin to to expand, you know, because of all the graft of, you know, when you get badly burned, you do skin grafts and stuff. So the belly couldn't expand, and the guts actually exploded into her. Sorry, the umbrella is flying away. Into her lungs, and she died. Anyway, she died 19 years later, but it was clearly the consequences of the brutal attack. So suddenly the boyfriend was tried for murder, and he had just been released, so he went back to jail. So that's quite interesting to be to go down for murder 19 years later. But you know, he deserved it. This building here, that's actually a Wetherspoons hotel. Some of you might know Wetherspoons. It's this pub chain that is much cheaper than any other pubs, really. They've recently started doing hotels as well. And it's interesting because, well, some of you might know Tim Martin, the big boss. He's he's an interesting guy, let's say. He keeps meddling with politics. He had a major campaign supporting Brexit. I do apologize if the frame, if the umbrella is in the frame, but the weather has turned terrible now. I need to protect the equipment. So his new hotels, they are interesting because he's decided not to use Booking or any booking platform, you know, those international platforms that take 25%. He's only promoting his hotels through his pubs and I suppose Google Maps as well, but that's it. He's not using any of those third-party platforms to promote the Wetherspoons hotels. You love the seaside towns with even darker history, Linda. Great to hear. So here are the winter gardens. It's interesting to see how pretty much all the British seaside towns were developed, you know, with those piers and everything. Because if you go down to, I don't know, Italy, Spain, France, or any other European beach resort, you'll never see a pier. Why do the Brits have those piers? I suppose you might have a few in the US or potentially even Canada, but in Europe it's quite unique. But I guess it's because of the weather, because, you know, if you go on a beachy weekend in Italy in May, you'd almost certainly be able to use the beach and go for a swim. Here, you have to have a plan B, because you might have a day like today with wind and cold and rain. So I guess they needed entertainment, like those winter gardens or those piers, and because the piers would have been used for the ferries or the boats as well to arrive, especially in destinations like here with a huge tide. Weston-super-Mare is I think it's the second largest tide in across the world. Number one, well, there are two number one, I think, in Nova Scotia in Canada. But yeah, when the sea is far, it can be very far. Oh, you have a pier in the Netherlands as well. Ah, interesting. Well, I suppose the Netherlands is probably not. The weather is not very different from here, is it? Because it's about the same longitude or latitude? Latitude as London, isn't it? Hi, Martin from Canada. Welcome everyone that just joined. Welcome to windy, rainy Weston-super-Mare. Now, after all those murder stories, on a side note, we also had an interesting reverend here. In the 1920s, Reverend Harold something, he liked to cross-dress and dress up as a lady, apparently. For many months, there were reports of a strange lady, a very tall lady walking around at night. And they found out, eventually, someone recognized him. It was the Reverend. And he claimed that he was actually trying to write a book of about the new morals of the day, and that he was studying how people treated ladies walking alone at night. But I think he was just a cross-dressing reverend. Why not? Same weather, it's always coming from the UK. Yeah, it's probably the same clouds that fly from London down to the Netherlands. Anyway, here is the entrance to the Grand Pier. I'm not gonna go down the pier because it's always well, it's gonna be even more windy, and also they always play music, and you know, with YouTube it's always you know, you don't want any music in the background because of copyright issues. So no pier for us, but that's fine. I'll take you down to a church, because some of you might remember we talked a couple of weeks ago when we were in Fulham in London. We talked about Jill Dando, the BBC journalist that was murdered in Gowan Street in Fulham in 1999. Well, Jill was from here. Now, for those of you that might not remember, I'll tell you quickly what happened. Well, Jill was she was an extremely popular lady. She was going to be the face of the BBC for the New Year's celebration, you know, the 2000 millennium. She was she was doing a few shows, but mainly the one called Crime Watch, that would investigate. I'm just going to try to swap hands because my left arm is getting tired. Bear with me, because it's so windy. It's a bit tricky to hold the umbrella. Oh no, I've made a mess. Well, anyway, the cable is on the wrong side. Right. According to the app, it is better. You heard something? Ooh, that's a good start. Let me know if we are back. That'll be brilliant if we're back, because I've got something to show you right here. A bemusement park. They're still here. I'll try to show you the church where Jill Dando was. Well, she's not buried. Show you the church where Jill Dando was. Well, she's not buried there, but where the funeral. But yeah, anyway, Jill Dando was from here in Weston-super-Mare. So after being murdered in London, because she was a Western girl. Good signal last week in Lincoln. You know, with those live streams, you never know what you're gonna get in terms of signal, in terms of weather. Sometimes the weather is with you, the internet is with you. Sometimes they're not. Like today. Are we back? It's funny because sometimes the app tells me transmission issue, and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm just assuming we're back, but clearly not. Your messages in the chat. But just in case you can hear me, I'm gonna cross over the street to show you the church. So, and then I'm gonna run to my train for Bristol. There we go. So this is the church here. The church where Jill